You know that feeling, and maybe you've had it this week, where you plug your phone in, you see the little lightning bolt, but the battery percentage just it never goes up.
The slow drain.
Exactly, the slow train.
Yeah.
You're doing all the things you're supposed to, you're sleeping, you're, eating okay, maybe you even do the whole self-care Sunday thing,
Right.
but then you wake up Monday morning and you're starting the week on what, like 15%? And nothing catastrophic even happened.
No, there was no big explosion.
Right. No massive crisis, just this low-level hum of exhaustion.
That is such a, well, it's a profoundly relatable feeling. And when we hit that wall, I think our first instinct is always to look for a physical cause.
Oh, totally. You book a doctor's appointment, check your iron levels.
Blame the thyroid. And you should do those things,
Yeah.
obviously. But so often the blood work comes back normal and you're left with this weird reality that the leak isn't physical. It's existential.
Existential leak.
Yeah.
That sounds both terrifying and 100% accurate, and that's exactly what we're getting into today.
It is.
We're doing a deep dive into this fascinating source called the sovereignty of self, reclaiming your stolen power. And specifically, we're zooming in on the part that asks, the million-dollar question, what is stealing your power?
It's a heavy question, but it's the right one to ask.
It is. And before we start pointing fingers, I think we really need to define what we mean by power. Because when I hear that word, my mind immediately goes to, like, a CEO or a politician.
Right. Someone with power over other people.
Yeah, not me just trying to get through a Tuesday.
And that's the first thing the source just clears right up. Power, in this context, it's not about dominance. It's not control. The author defines it more as the ability to choose, to trust yourself, and to exist authentically.
To exist authentically. So it's not
Right.
force, it's agency.
Exactly. It's autonomy. It's being able to act from your own center instead of just, reacting to all the noise and the demands around you. And the core argument here, and this is what really hooked me, is that we rarely lose this power in some big dramatic moment. A villain doesn't just swoop in and steal it.
It's not a bank heist.
No, it's a siphon.
Yeah.
The source calls it a slow leak. And it happens through patterns and beliefs and environments that we've normalized them so much we don't even see them as threats anymore.
We just think, oh, this is just how life is.
Yeah. That's the scary part. If someone's yelling at you, you know you're under attack. But if you're slowly losing energy because of a habit you've had since you were 7, you just think that's your personality.
Wow.
Precisely. And like the source says, you cannot protect what you are not aware of. So our mission today is really practical. We're going to shine a light on the 8 specific ways this power gets siphoned away
Find the holes in the bucket.
so you can actually stop the leak.
Okay, I have to warn you listening right now. I read through this list of 8 drains, and I felt personally attacked by, at least 6 of them. This is not abstract philosophy.
No, it's very real.
It's the stuff we do every single day. So, let's jump in. The first category is internal drains. And the big one here, people-pleasing.
The heavyweight champion of power loss.
Yeah.
It is. It's just so pervasive. And it's tricky, right? Because we get rewarded for it. We call it being nice or supportive.
Easy going.
Yeah, but the source makes this very sharp distinction. It says people-pleasing isn't kindness. It's the habit of prioritizing others' comfort at the expense of your own well-being.
It's the expense part. That's the key. We trick ourselves into thinking we're just being good people. But the text lists these behaviors like saying yes when you mean no.
Oh, that's a huge one.
Or suppressing your feelings just to keep the vibe chill. And my absolute favorite, or maybe least favorite, apologizing for existing.
That phrase hit me hard. Sorry to bother you, but, or sorry, just taking up space. It's like you're shrinking yourself with your own words.
Yeah.
But here's the aha moment from this section. People-pleasing isn't just a bad habit. It's a survival strategy.
Okay, unpack that, because it feels like just who I am.
It feels that way because it's probably been with you for a long time. But it usually develops in, say, an unstable environment. If you learned early on that keeping people around you calm,
Parents, teachers, whoever.
right, was the only way to get safety or affection, you learn to become a kind of thermostat for the room. You're constantly adjusting yourself to regulate everyone else.
So you're not trying to be nice, you're trying to be safe.
Exactly. It's a trauma response called fawning. You merge with others to avoid conflict. But the source argues that while that protected you then, it is absolutely draining you now.
Every time you say yes when you mean no.
You're handing over a piece of your autonomy. You're teaching your brain that your needs come second to literally everyone else's.
You're making yourself a second-class citizen in your own life.
It's a brutal way to put it, but it's accurate.
Uh,
And that leads right into the second internal drain, which is basically the sibling of people-pleasing, self-doubt, and internalized criticism.
of course. Because if you spend your whole life looking outward for cues, you eventually just stop trusting your own signals.
You lose that muscle of intuition. The source calls this the power theft that happens inside your own head. It's that voice saying, I'm not good enough, I can't trust myself, or the classic one, I'm just being dramatic.
I'm being dramatic. I feel like that one phrase has shut down more valid feelings than anything else in history. You invalidate your own experience before you even feel it.
It's like you're gaslighting yourself.
Yeah.
But here's the crucial insight. These inner critics, they are learned. They are not innate. You weren't born thinking you were too much.
Right, no baby wakes up thinking, I really shouldn't cry right now, it's so inconvenient.
Exactly. Babies are pure need, pure expression. These critical voices are what some psychologists call introjects. They're external voices from parents, society, teachers that you just kind of swallowed whole and adopted as your own.
And now they're running the show.
And when you question your own instincts because of that voice, you're outsourcing your authority. You're letting a ghost from your past drive the car.
That's a haunting image. Okay, so we have the internal leaks, pleasing and doubting. Now let's look outward. The source calls these external drains, starting with toxic relationships.
This is where we have to look at the ROI of our relationships, the return on investment. And the source sets a really high bar here. It says, relationships should nourish, not consume.
Nourish, not consume. I feel like for a lot of us, the bar is just set at tolerate.
Or we've been friends since high school, so I guess I have to.
Yes. And that feeling of obligation, that's the leak. If you consistently leave an interaction feeling drained or anxious,
Wow.
that's a power drain.
The source lists the signs, manipulation, constant criticism, gaslighting, conditional love.
Oof, conditional love is a big one. The whole, I love you, but only if you do this, or, but only if you agree with me.
It forces you to perform for affection.
Yeah.
And you can't be sovereign if you're constantly performing. The source has this really powerful line here. It says, you do not owe access to anyone who diminishes you. Power grows where respect lives.
I want to pause on that. You do not owe access. That sounds so simple, but what that really means is boundaries. It means saying, my energy is a finite resource, and I'm cutting your funding.
And that's so hard. We're social creatures. We want to belong. But belonging in a toxic dynamic costs you your selfhood. And speaking of belonging, that brings us right to the next one. Comparison and external validation.
The modern machine of belonging, the digital drain.
Yeah, social media, productivity culture, all of it. But it goes deeper than just Instagram makes me feel bad. The real trap is the direction of your focus. Comparison steals power by shifting your focus outward.
You're measuring your inside against someone else's outside.
Against their highlight reel.
Yeah.
And we know it's a highlight reel, right? We know there's a filter. We know they didn't post the meltdown they had 5 minutes before.
So why does it still work on us?
Because we're wired for validation. But when that validation becomes purely external likes, praise, matching someone else's timeline, your own self-trust just erodes. You're waiting for the world to tell you you're okay.
Instead of knowing it yourself.
You become a leaf in the wind.
Okay, so we've covered the mind and the environment, but the source goes deeper into the biology of it. This whole section on trauma and the body felt heavier.
It's the foundation. You really can't talk about reclaiming power without talking about the nervous system. The analysis here is that trauma isn't just a bad memory. It actually changes your identity. It teaches your nervous system to stay in survival mode.
And when you're in survival mode, authenticity is a luxury. You can't worry about living your truth if your body thinks a tiger is chasing you.
Precisely. The source talks about symptoms like dulling your intuition or hypervigilance or rest feeling unsafe. If you can't rest, you can't recharge. But the biggest point is how this leads to a disconnection from the body itself.
Yeah, let's talk about that. The source mentions things like ignoring hunger, pushing past exhaustion. I feel like our culture rewards this. We get a gold star for working through lunch.
We do. We wear exhaustion like a badge of honor. But the source argues the body holds all this wisdom. When you ignore its cues, when you override your body's no, you're disconnecting from a huge source of your power.
You're literally splitting yourself in two.
The mind that drives and the body that suffers. And there's this line in the text I love. Listening to your body is not weakness, it is sovereignty.
That's a massive reframe. So Taking a nap isn't lazy. It's an act of reclaiming your power.
It's a radical act.
Yeah.
It's saying, I trust the signals my own system is sending me more than the external demand to keep producing.
Wow. Okay, so for the final category of drains, the source calls it the existential drain. This covers fear of being seen and living out of alignment.
And they really go hand in hand. The fear of being seen, I mean, that's often a direct result of all the things we just talked about. Trauma, criticism.
Yeah.
You learn that being visible leads to punishment.
So you shrink. The text talks about hiding your talents, silencing your opinions, shrinking to fit expectations. It's like tall poppy syndrome. If you grow too tall, you get cut down.
Exactly. But the cost of that safety is your power. When you hide yourself, you're telling yourself on some level that you don't matter. But the source offers this amazing counter. Power does not require approval. It requires presence.
Just showing up as you are. And that flows right into living out of alignment, which is when your actions don't match your values.
This might be the ultimate drain. It's the friction of living a lie, even a small one. Staying in a job that makes you miserable, living by a bunch of shoulds.
Abandoning joy for obligation.
It's what psychologists call cognitive dissonance. And it takes so much energy to maintain that split. Wearing a mask is heavy.
It's exhausting.
It really is. And so alignment restores power because it closes that gap between your inner and outer world. When what you believe matches what you do, you stop leaking energy. You become whole again.
So let's just recap the damage report. We've got people-pleasing, self-doubt, toxic relationships, comparison, trauma, body disconnection, fear of visibility, and living out of alignment. That is a lot.
It's a lot.
And for you listening, it might feel a little overwhelming to see how many of these are active in your life.
Which brings us to the most important part of this whole thing. The outro of the source is very specific here. It is crucial, absolutely crucial, that you do not meet this awareness with shame.
Right. It says, awareness is not self-blame. It is so easy to hear this list and think, wow, I'm just terrible at this. I've given all my power away.
But you have to remember the context. You learned these behaviors for survival. You didn't people please because you're weak. You did it to stay safe. You didn't disconnect from your body because you're stupid. You did it because your nervous system was protecting you from pain.
There's a line I love. Compassion is not complacency. You can be kind to yourself about why you have these habits.
While still being committed to changing them.
Exactly. Power wasn't stolen because of some character flaw. It was lost because you were trying to belong. But the beautiful thing is, what was learned can be unlearned.
And what was given away can be reclaimed. The source says, your power has always been yours. Nothing can truly take it, only obscure it. That's the hope, isn't it? It's not gone. It's just buried under layers of expectations and old habits. The goal isn't to go out and conquer new power. It's to excavate it.
So what's the path forward? What do you actually do?
The source suggests a simple process. First step is just awareness. You have to see the leak. So next time you go to apologize for existing, just catch it, notice it.
Just name it. Oh, that's a power leak.
Exactly. The second step is the pause. Just interrupt the autopilot. Between the request and your response, just take 5 seconds, breathe.
And then choice.
Yes.
Yeah.
Power is the ability to choose. Once you've seen the pattern and you've paused, you have this tiny window where you can choose something different. You can choose to say no. You can choose to rest.
It doesn't have to be some massive revolution overnight.
No, it's about plugging the little leaks one by one. It's a gentle return. As the source so poetically puts it, the goal is not to find your power, but to call it home.
That's a beautiful image, calling your power home. It implies it already belongs to you. It's been waiting.
It changes the whole tone from a battle to a reunion.
So here's where we'll leave you today. Take a look at your life this week, not with a magnifying glass of criticism, but just with curiosity. Where are you leaking? Is it in the yes that should have been a no?
Is it in the endless scrolling when your body needs to sleep? Is it in that voice in your head telling you to be quiet? Pay attention to where you feel tired and ask yourself, is this just physical tiredness? Or is this a power leak?
Because once you name it, you break its smell. And remember, you don't owe anyone access to your energy. You are the sovereign of your own self.
Reclaiming that is the most important work you'll ever do.
Thanks for diving deep with us. This was a big one. Take care of yourselves, check your batteries, and call that power home. We'll catch you on the next deep dive.
See ya.